This is Mike with the SV Elusive down in Dana Point, California, and I thought I would do a interior tour of my little boat this morning. It's a Kent Ranger 26. It's not to be confused with a Ranger 26 that was designed by Gary Mull and built in Costa Mesa. These were built in Kent, Washington. They were designed by Ray Richards, and so that's why they tend to call these Kent Rangers instead of just regular Rangers. But anyway, it's a 26-foot sloop. I say it's a 26-foot, but the marina swears it's 29 because they want to count the bowsprit. That's another 3 feet, so it's technically like 29 feet 5 inches or something. And so I have to pay the extra for the four. This is a 25-foot slip, so I have to pay the extra 4 feet to make it that they charge me for the extra 4 feet. So you know, they'll get their money one way or the other, right? So anyway, but it measures 26 feet to me, but that's just the overall length of the hull, not the bowsprit. So I guess they're technically correct. But anyway, with that, I'll just start my little tour here. And this is the view of the boat looking from the forward end back aft to the companionway. And I'm going to look up forward and I will show you my little chart table and my electronics that I have. So starting here, I've got a GPS map 541S Garmin. It's an older chop plotter, but it works really good, well, and you can see that I have AIS on the boat, both transmitter and receiver, so you can see the targets blinking, the little triangle targets, and you can see the names of the boats. And that's driven by this AIS SciTech transmitter receiver, and it's also a splitter for the antenna, so I don't have to have an extra antenna for it, VHF antenna, and it works really well. A good friend of mine, Facebook and YouTube friend, told me about them, and I got one and I really like it. This is my in AIS, I'm sorry, AIS stands for Automated Identification System. And so what it does is, like if someone else was looking at their chart plotter and they have a receiver AIS, they would see my boat would be showing up as one of these triangles. And if we go over here to, this is my other GPS. This is a Garmin 74 CV, and you can see I've got it zoomed out farther, but if you see down here in the corner there at bottom, it's showing all the boats right now that have their AISs turned on and transmitting right now in the harbor. So there's quite a bit. Yeah, there you go. Maybe you can see that better. Anyway, and that's my second and this is the one I use. It right now it's pointing into the boat, but typically if you're sailing, it's pointed obviously the opposite way so that you can see it while it's steering. This is my radio. It's a standard Horizon Matrix AIS Plus GX2150, and it's a GPS. I'm sorry, AIS receiver, and so this just transmits it receives the information, so it doesn't transmit an AIS signal, but it receives everyone else's. And so I have it wired into one of these two, so I have redundancy. So if one goes out the other, at least I can see where the boats and ships are out in the channel. But of course, if a boat doesn't have AIS transmitter on it, you're not going to see it. So you still got to keep your eyes looking out for it. And anyway, just to move on, these are my quarter berths here. This is the port side one here, and you can see I don't ever use them as berths. They just make good stowage, and there's stowage underneath the cushions too. And that's my bilge, my automatic bilge pump, which for some reason is not turned on right now, and I don't know why, but that should be left turned on, although my bilge is usually dry. And this is the starboard side, and you can see it goes back. So a 6'6", it's about 7 feet in length. So you know, a good sized person can lay in there. I guess if I laid with my head at this end, which you're supposed to, at the forward end, then I wouldn't be. But man, when I have to crawl back to the back there to do some maintenance or install something, and gotta reach I get a little claustrophobic because it's hard to slide on those cushions. So it's just funny how old age claustrophobia affects. And then there's just some of my emergency gear and lights and stuff right down there. And that's my engine under there. And that's, like I said, it's a GM1. It's not the 10 horsepower I wished it was, but you can't get those pistons for it anymore, so I had to have it rebuilt with the smaller piston. So it's only like 7.5 horsepower, but it runs just fine. And you can see I have my my DC panel back there, and my main battery switch and all is right there. And over here in the corner is my AC, and so that's so when I'm here at the dock, I can plug in and get my 110 AC voltage there. And of course you can see there's my jackets and my hoodie. Don't hardly ever have to wear them, but it has gotten cool now. So and that's the cockpit, and I'll do an outside one later. So I'll kind of save that for the next time. Hi, I'm in the head right now. I don't know who designed this, but you can see there ain't much room in here. So I have to admit I've not ever used this the head restroom, or head, whatever you want to call it, water closet. It is just the tiniest little thing, and you're supposed to be able to take a shower in it too, but so it is a wet head. But yeah, anyway, it's a little bit too small for the likes of me. Although now that I'm sitting in it, I guess I could go. There, let me put a light on. There's the light. Here I am, all closed up in my, and there's the toilet paper holder. So it's got all the amenities, except it has no room. All right. So this is my little galley area here. I've got a 2-burner alcohol stove, and it's a Ringo 4000. It's got a cutting board on top of it. Where the fan is there, that's my ice box under there. And this is my little sink with down below it pumps fresh water from the tank. And you can see my silverware and all. I mean, my silverware, my plates and bowls and stuff, and lockers all the way down the sides. Here's where, you know, if you're just by yourself, you can just use this as a table and not, you know, worry about setting this big table up. The stove's out of the way right there, and as you can see, there's my little library, and there's my skipper's hat. This is my hanging locker. So there's all my life preservers and stuff are in there, and I have my, they're all automatics, and this is my offshore, and this is mine here, and it has the personal locator device on it inside that yellow, so if I fall off the boat I can turn that on and the Coast Guard can find me. It'll get a signal eventually. And there's the other stuff in there. And there's my nice stereo radio setup. Lights, more stowage. It's my lanterns. So there's stowage underneath these cushions here all the way around. So there's lots of stowage. And this table bottom here fits into this groove down here, as you can see. And that makes, you can make a, well, almost queen size bed. Obviously it's not queen size width at the front, but it makes a nice big size bed with these cushions on these cushions here fit into the slot there and makes a full bed. But typically if I the several times that I've spent the night, I just sleep on the, I don't make the full bed since it's just usually me. And if you look at where the welcome aboard, you can see my two cabinets there, and then behind that is the chain locker, and you can use that for stowage too. And of course there's my barometer and my clock, ship's clock, and my compass for the inside, so you can see what's going on, what direction you're moving, or if you're sitting on the anchor, riding the anchor, you can see what direction you're at without having to go out or look back to get it off of the chart plotters and that's a little heater. It's a Force 10 heater, and never had to use it because it never gets cold enough here. There's another little fiddle storage. There's a ship's bell over there, and my thermometer, and of course, but not least, there's the compression post that and these are the inside. These are my new portholes that opening port lights, and both sides really nice. It's rained a couple times since I installed them and no leaks, and so very happy. So I know I mentioned that I have a GPS personal locator beacon. This is it right here, and it's made by McMurrow, if I'm saying the name right. And if you fall in the water, it's hooked to my strap to my life vest. And if you fall in the water and there's no one around, or if you're, this will work from anywhere in the world supposedly, but I never want to find out myself. But you turn it on. You have to open up, there's an antenna. You just pull out this antenna, and then you turn it on, and it sends a location, and it uses your I've already have it registered online, so it will send your data to a satellite, and then down to the to the national information where they keep the data, the transmitted data, and then it goes out to the Coast Guard or whoever, all the ships around you, and they pick this up and they can come get you. At least that's the way it's supposed to work. And then next is, this is my newest little toy. This is something I usually, depending on how far I go out, I'll hook this on. But this is strictly, this is a VHF with the lat long with the GPS longitude and latitude and longitude, and if you if you press that distress button, it will send a signal out to the Coast Guard or whoever, and anybody, because it's on VHF, and if you pick that message up, then you either relay it to the Coast Guard, or if you're close enough, come and assist. I know I haven't checked it lately, but there was I'm sure it's still the same way because I haven't seen anything change. But if you get a notification or a distress call, you receive one from somebody, you're supposed to proactively do something about it, not just sit on your hands or say it's not my problem, unless you're obviously too far away. But if you're too far away, you still want to transmit the data on, just in case someone else, the Coast Guard or someone else that may be nearer, maybe they can respond to it. So you have to actually do something. You can't just, now how someone would know you got to, I guess your own conscience would know that. So I'll just leave it at that, but that's the idea. So that's my my safety, because I sail a lot by myself, well, almost 100% by myself. So I just to make me feel, if I fall in the water and I don't freeze to death with this cold California water, or die of hypothermia before they reach me. Hopefully somebody, I can send out a message and somebody will come get me, but that's the idea. So anyway, that's my emergency gear, and this is, here just to turn my, so I have, this is a West Marine offshore. It's got the D-clips for, so you can strap your, I have the safety line, the lanyard in my box over there, my hanging locker, and you hook yourself in, so hopefully you don't fall out. And if you have to go forward, you have jack lines you string so that you hook in, so that if you were to slip and fall or just slip, that lanyard will catch you from falling off the boat. Because if you fall off the boat and you have no way to grab, just no way, you're not, the boat's going to sail away, because it's typically on autopilot, which is why you're able to go forward or go move off from the tiller. And anyway, when we're talking about that, this is my auto tiller here. I built a nice little stand for it. It's a Ray Marine ST2000 Plus, so it's actually for a boat. My boat would be the minimum size, but I went ahead and bought the bigger one because it's got a screw drive, and anyway, it works really well. And you just set it up. You can set it up by waypoint or by or just tell it to steer in the direction that you're steering, and it'll hold that course. The thing you got to be careful of is if you're just saying steer to a direction, is you can sail the same direction for 5 hours and miss your target by miles, because the wind and the current and wave action and all that will keep pushing your boat one way or the other. And so, but the sailboat still merrily sails at, like, set it at 200 and 25 degrees, it'll keep sailing at 225 degrees, but it won't get you to where you're going. So you still have to make sure you're looking out and checking your chart plotter and different, and any other navigation equipment you have, to make sure that you are still headed to where you're going, like Avalon or out on Catalina, if that's where you'd be going. So that's the one thing many people think, okay, I just pointed at Catalina and push the button and it'll sail. Well, since the current is a north-south, you can sail at 225 degrees, but you'll end up in San Clemente Island probably. But by the time the 30 miles you get that 32 miles over to Catalina. So I can't say that I have had that experience myself, but that's one of the things that they teach you first about using direction for your automatic for your auto tiller or autopilot, whatever you want to call it. So in this case it's an auto tiller because it hooks to a tiller rather than to a wheel. So anyway, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So that's about it for the inside. You can see the guy that owned the boat before me, it only had one other owner, and his name was John, and he installed the floor, the teak and holly floor, and he lined everything with teak. So he turned a nice boat into a really beautiful boat on the inside. And so I have to thank him for doing such a really good job with his joinery, as it's called in shipbuilding, to put the line, do all the lining and the wainscoting and the whole works in. So anyway, you've seen my boat, and of course this is the forward hatch. Lets a lot of nice air in, and I have an air scoop that actually you can install, and you can see back the other way. So anyway, hope you enjoyed my little tour of the boat, and I will talk to you later. Bye.